listening to Listed 12:20 a.m. Thank you so much for joining me on the show. I love doing my radio show. We're about real estate, trust, probate, divorce, and more. There are a lot of questions that go into all these categories. And the purpose of my show was to have professionals on the show to talk to people about what the process is that can help their process, whether it's post, pre, divorce or inheritance or anything to that matter, needing to sell real estate. And a little bit about me. I'm a certified trust and probate realtor. I've been licensed for over a decade. I won't tell you how much over a decade, but over a decade. I'm licensed in California and Arizona, and I handle residential, multifamily, 1031 exchange, inherited properties, people facing divorce, any dissolutions of relationships. My team includes bookkeepers to facilitate the expenditure of selling multi-unit properties, because a lot of times the properties are left unhandled, should we say, and it needs to be sorted out so we can have an expedited sale that's smooth and have a bunch of happy campers. So we also can renovate a property and the sellers will pay in escrow, no upfront costs. So we have a lot of great programs to help people go through all the real estate and asset liquidations that they need. Even if they're moving out of town, we can help with that. 1031 exchanges, estate sales, decluttering, packing, all that to make their experience a good one. Because my business is about everyone's experience, and not only about real estate, although I do love real estate. And I have a guest today who is a personal injury attorney in California, and wants to talk about what kind of situations someone may be involved in, and what to do to avoid any situations that you don't want to be in, right? So we have Arthur Liberty here, and his office is in Santa Monica, and he handles cases throughout California, and he's been doing this over a decade. Also, I will not tell you how much over a decade, right? Anyway, but I'd like to introduce Arthur. Arthur, can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself? And we were going to talk about real estate and what happens with insurance and real estate and personal injury.
Well, good afternoon. My name's Arthur Liberty. I am an attorney. I am an injury attorney, and I've been doing this for more than 3 decades. I'll go out there on a limb. I try cases. That means I go in front of judges and juries. I am not one of those TV or commercial attorneys that you see on billboards. I'm a real attorney. And I deal with all kinds of issues. And over my time as an attorney, I've dealt with a number of issues regarding real estate. So I guess the first part will be as a real estate owner. As a real estate owner, you have a lot of obligations to potential parties who might be injured. The first of which is obvious, the ones of the slip and fall, the trip and fall, dangerous conditions on your property, all of which can lead to a claim. Of course, most of us, either through our own volition or through the need by a financier, have some kind of homeowners policy or commercial insurance policy that covers ourselves or our businesses for any type of on-the-premises type of injury. And those generally work well. The biggest problems that we've run in over the past is not having enough coverage. There are many that will have coverage of only $100,000. And in California and certainly in Los Angeles County, that's often not enough. Just to give you an insight, a single day in an ICU is about $15,000 to $25,000. If your coverage is only $100,000, it's not going to be enough to cover you or your family and certainly your premises. And you may end up losing your business or your property because you don't have enough coverage. So that's the first thing that we always look at. But what people don't understand is that homeowners coverage covers more than just the property. In fact, I just had a situation where a bicyclist was involved in an accident with another bicyclist. And believe it or not, California does not have bicycle insurance. But if you have a homeowner's policy, that will extend to cover you outside of even the premises and on a bicycle. And so one bicyclist can make a claim against another homeowner's policy. Another case I had, rather famous case, was a situation where a Giants fan literally punched a Dodger fan in the face on the Jumbotron in full view. It was on national TV, and I represented the individual, the Dodger fan, who had been struck in the face and had a broken jaw. The homeowner's policy, even though it's almost literally an intentional act, handled it as if it was a negligent act, and that meant that it was covered, and so we had coverage for outside of the home in essentially an assault. So it is possible to have your homeowner's policy cover you for things that you might not expect, but it's always important to have, one, coverage, and two, enough coverage that you don't put your real estate at risk. Now, there's another area which often people don't consider, and that is that you, as the owner of property, may be involved in an accident where you're injured. And there you're going to have a problem because you're not be able to work for a period of time and pay for the expenses that go along with ownership, including paying the mortgage, the property tax, and everything else. While generally a liability of the person who either caused your injury is generally limited to the out-of-pocket expenses, those expenses can get larger, especially if there's a risk of losing your property. You have to enter into a short-term loan. You have to finance a recovery of property, or more importantly, that you have to even pay your property taxes themselves, and that you suffer as a result of being unable to pay penalties and assessments. So all of these are actually recoverable, and they're recoverable because they are foreseeable. So if someone's unable to work and they're unable to pay their obligations, it's often an unseen and uncollected area of the law. In fact, you'd be surprised how many other attorneys miss this completely, but it is recoverable and it is part of your claim. So those are just some general areas that relate to real estate. I guess the other issue is always, what do you need to do in order to protect yourself from claims? And the biggest of which is that you want to make sure that any kind of unsafe condition on your property is taken care of. And those obviously are the clear ones. You know, you don't want a big hole in the middle of the ground. You don't want to have electrical wires out and exposed. You don't want to have a potential flooding issue. Those are pretty clear. What people don't understand is that there are other liabilities that arise as well. If you have a worker of a subcontractor or even a contractor on your property and your property poses a risk to that person, you have the obligation to and will have to cover expenses incurred as a result of injuries on the property, even if it's a workers' compensation claim. And so you really want to make sure that, first off, there is coverage. So if you're getting work done on your property, one of the first things you need to explain to the person you're hiring is there a potential that I might have some liability here? And if so, You want to make sure that that person, a contractor, has workers' compensation insurance. In fact, they'll generally have a certificate that they have workers' compensation insurance. Also, it would be nice to know if they have health insurance, or they have some primary way of covering you. So all of these things are important because that will help you make sure that you are covered and that you don't have exposure to the employees of a contractor coming on to the property. There are other individuals that will come onto your property, sometimes unannounced. We have the water department, the gas department, sometimes law enforcement, sometimes code enforcement, all of whom may arrive at your property for some reason or another and decide that they have access. And if there is a dangerous condition on your property, even if it was never designed to have people there in the first place, you still face a risk that you may have a claim against you for injuries that occurred to any one of those individuals. So it's very important to consider what kind of condition your property is in and what you can do to avoid injury to that person. You'll be surprised. Often it doesn't require you actually to repair that hole or fill up or cover that electrical outlet. It just requires you to put a warning that there is a dangerous condition. So the rule of in premises liability is it's a dangerous condition that has existed on the property for such a period of time that the owner should have known or repaired the property, or that the owner gives warning. And so you can often avoid a lot of liability by just putting up a sign and giving warning to anybody who's coming onto the property that there may be a problem and they need to be vigilant and avoid injury. Often that's best done by giving the potential person coming onto the property, either a contractor, the contractor's employees, law enforcement, code enforcement, anything else, a written notification of the problems that may exist. Like, hey, we're undergoing construction right now. You might want to avoid this area or that area because there's a potential risk that you might be hurt. That's all you need to do. And by doing so, you have avoided liability that might arise if they choose to come onto the property and assume that risk. There's other issues, but Mina, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah, so I know that we also talk about umbrella policies, which is probably a good idea for people in California, since if they have property, it's worth quite a bit of money.
Yeah, so if you have a vehicle and a piece of property and you try to bundle those two coverages, it's often better to get a lower coverage on both policies and then put an umbrella policy, a policy above and beyond those two coverages that covers both, like an umbrella. And the umbrella can be significantly higher. You'd be surprised that you can get $1 million worth of coverage as an umbrella, much cheaper than you can get $1 million coverage on just, let's say, a vehicle or on a home alone. So the combination is often very economical.
Arthur, what is a good way for people to reach you? We're on Facebook and live as well as the radio, so people can always, if they're driving, please don't do anything but listen, because you don't want to have to call Arthur, right? So our information will stay in Facebook on the KHTS hometown station. Arthur, what's a good way for them to reach you?
You can always give me a call at 310-899-6030, and we will respond. We make ourselves available 24/7, but a better way, a way that no other attorney has been doing at this point, is you can get a hold of me by visual, that is a video conference 24/7. And I want you to do is simply go to my website. That's Liberty, like the statue, lawfirm.com. And if you go to libertylawfirm.com, you will notice on the bottom there's a footer, and there are choices. You can literally do a video conference. You just click, and it will automatically, through your web browser, through your mobile phone, connect with my office and personally with me. Or you can even, if you're an Apple person and the Apple Echo system, you can hit the FaceTime button and you can FaceTime me. Or you certainly can call and you certainly text. But any one of those ways, you can get a hold of me quickly. And that's the most important thing, because if you've ever been in an accident, that short period of time where decisions have to be made is crucial. So I'm always available 24/7. So please feel free to give me a call.
Arthur, that was really amazing, and I was super excited to have you on the show today, because I know it's a big situation for people, because sometimes I don't even know what kind of insurance they have until, God forbid, something happens. So please do look. If you need an extra opinion, call Arthur Liberty. We will see you back shortly. We have another great guest, estate planning attorney Crista Hermance. Thank you, and we'll see you in a few.
Mark J. Marcus is a bankruptcy attorney in Burbank. He's helped his clients eliminate debts, stop foreclosures, and wage garnishments in Chapter 7, 13, and Chapter 11 bankruptcy cases in the greater Los Angeles area since 1991. He is a certified specialist in bankruptcy law by the State Bar of California Board of Legal Specialization. If you're facing debt problems such as mortgages, taxes, credit cards, debts from divorce, medical, and others, contact Mark to schedule an appointment. 818-509-1173.
Jerry Holt at Brook & Sons Inspections, with over 40 years of experience in the construction industry, has performed thousands of home inspections. Jerry Holt, once a city building inspector and general contractor, knows exactly what you need to look for when buying a home. Serving LA, Ventura, and Orange counties. Call Brook & Sons with any questions. They're here to serve you. Call Brook & Sons Inspections at 747-336-9849 or email at brookandsonsinc@gmail.com for your free quote.
Are you looking for help with your online marketing? Do you need a professional website design? Do you want to increase your sales and get more leads? Then you need Abby Perez, CEO of Digital Concept. Abby has 15 years of experience helping businesses with all of their online marketing needs. She and her team will work tirelessly to get you the results you deserve. They offer a free in-depth analysis. Call Abby Perez and the Digital Concept team today and let them help you take your business to the next level at 800-531-0872 or visit digitalconceptmarketing.com.
Richard Wang is an attorney and founding partner with Viridian Mortgage, a residential mortgage broker specializing in Disney-level customer service for residential purchase and refinance transactions. Richard leads a team of dream makers that prepare buyers to present the winning offer while securing the most competitive loan terms and in industry-leading turnaround times. Ask Richard Wang about their no-income and zero down payment loans for medical professionals by calling 408-828-5609 today.
Skyline Smiles is a full-service, high-tech dental office located in Skyline Ranch Plaza on Plum Canyon Road in Santa Clarita. Dr. Harleen Graywall, founder and CEO, provides full-service dentistry as well as dental Botox for TMJ issues. Skyline Smiles strives to provide the best dental experience for you and your family. Visit Skyline Smiles Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or call at 661-244-4036.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Hi, thanks for coming back to listen to my show, listed by Mina Kuper. We're about trust, estate, probate, real estate, divorce, and more. You're listening to 1220 AM, 98.1 FM. And I have a great and amazing person, amazing guest on the show. Her name is Crista Hermance, and she is the owner of Hermance Law Firm, which focuses on estate planning and probate and will contests and all that inherited stuff that you have questions. And she is just a wealth of information. She has offices throughout California, and she's just really off the charts. And I think she's just a great person also, and that's what you want in your attorney, a good person as well as good attorney. So, Crista, thank you so much for being on the show. And I want to
thank you.
Yeah.
I love that. The person that you trust and someone that you I like that and put that in my tagline. So Thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, great. I do marketing on the side, it's all that stuff. But, most importantly, we go, people after the fact are so overwhelmed about a home that is not titled properly. There's no trust, there's no estate, there's no will. Nobody's reviewed an old trust. And what happens when a home has to go through the probate process? And how much does that cost? Goodness, and time.
Yeah. So I have seen this a lot recently, where adult kids have parents that pass away, and they're going through their stuff trying to figure out what to do. And there's a home, so they work with their real estate agent, just like yourself, in trying to sell the home, and then realize, well, the home wasn't in a trust, right? It was in their individual name. So now, rather than being able to sell the home just as if it was their own, they have to go through this probate process. And probate in the state of California, more specifically in the areas that, we work in LA County, Orange County, Ventura County, it's a very long process. And I don't think a lot of times people understand of just how cumbersome probate court is. And, when somebody owns an asset in their name, like a home, and they pass away, well, the only way to transfer that asset is through this court order, through this probate process. And so what ends up happening is, probate processes can take a year minimum. In LA, Orange County, we're looking at 18 months, 2 years, and that's uncontested, where everybody is getting along. It's just the actual time that it takes. And so now, rather than being able to sell the home, just as if, you were signing it over, you have to wait until these proceedings are done to be able to actually get the assets, to be able to get that benefit from the home sale through the probate process. And one of the things with probate that a lot of times people really don't understand is how expensive it is. And so to give you an idea, let's say that you have a home with a fair market value of $500,000. Okay. For the probate proceeding, for the house to go through it, you're looking at statutory fees. So these are fees that are set by the state of California, $26,000 in attorney fees and personal representative fees. So that's a fair market value of $500,000. It doesn't matter the equity in the house. It's the cost of what that fair market value is of that home. And so that $26,000, that's not it. Right? There's other fees on top of that. So you're looking at fees for filing. You're looking at probate referee fees. You're looking at bond fees, publication fees. So that's another $2,000 to maybe $4,000. So that's about $30,000. That's going to come out of the estate. That is going to have to get paid in order for that house to be able to go through probate.
Yeah, and people really are like, I wish they would have listened to me, and that's why it's good to do an estate plan when you're younger, because sometimes when the aged person, you get a little older, people are resilient and don't want to do it anymore and push it off, right, Crista? And it becomes more of an issue.
Yeah, or they get to the point where, they want to do it, or the family's been pushing them to do it, but then they don't have the capacity to actually sign the documents. And so that's really what we're trying to prevent, is it getting to that point that they no longer have the ability to be able to sign any type of legal documents like a trust, power of attorney, advanced healthcare directive, any of that kind of stuff.
Right. Exactly. And, I've talked to people because they know I'm a certified trust and probate realtor. And they're like, oh, I'll just pull up on one of those websites where you do it yourself. And I'm like, well, I don't think you should do that. I said, because there's so many things. Of course, being in the business, I've seen so many trusts that were just not done right. Either they themselves were outdated. They didn't exclude people, which caused a probate. There was so much that goes on. And even there is no such thing as a really simple trust. If you're going to do it right. Right, Crista?
Yeah.
You've seen that people come to you, they think they got it in the bag, and they come to you just to, make sure the debts are paid, because when an inherited property, if someone has a death in the family, they still have some, a protocol that you need to go through, even if it's not a probate, and that's when you call Crista Hermance law firm as well, because you need to really organize that, because that can come back at you later, too. So
Absolutely.
as long as you... Yeah, right. You cross your T's, dot your I's, make sure, the debts and everything is, addressed. Then, that's a good thing. And that's why I have, when I do multi-unit properties, multi-unit properties, I have bookkeepers on my team, stagers. I have, all those people, because when I have to sell a property and everybody's waiting and they finally got to a point where they could do it, I am ready to go. I have my bookkeepers go through all the statements, make sure, because when I'm selling multi-unit, I have to know what I'm selling. What's the operating expenses? What happened? I have to get, leases or notarized documents stating what people have paid. And it has to be done in a way where people don't get scared, because right away they think they're going to be kicked out and have nowhere to go. And we do it very subtly. We're very friendly. We work with the managers of the building or whoever they know in the family, so that we can make it a smooth process so people don't stop paying rent, right? And that's not what you want to happen.
Absolutely.
That's not a good thing. We're trying to sell a property. So we're really finesseful, though, because we care. We don't want anyone to get upset about anything, right? We want everybody to have a good experience. It's about the experience. But, and there's different things. Sometimes husband and wife own property together, but sometimes that doesn't need to go to probate if there's no other children, right? There's other ways that you can handle it in a quicker fashion or a will contest. But, it's, there's so many loopholes. So try not to do it yourself. I've had in my car myself, not going to be a good thing.
No, I've had people that have come to me where they'll have a parent that's passed away and they did, some type of online program or something, and I'm going through the documents, and then I realized that it was never signed, right? So this trust that they created and they, they printed everything out, it was never signed, so it wasn't executed properly, so it's not valid. So, and this just happened, it was about a year and a half ago, because we just finished the probate on it, and it was, a $1.7 million estate where it was. Wow. And so it was a lot of money that the family had to pay, or that came out of the estate, that essentially the beneficiaries, that came out of their portion. But it could have been prevented had it been reviewed and done properly in the first place.
Yeah, right.
So, the other thing too. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was agreeing with you.
Yeah. Well, it's also like checking the deed for your house, right? And this is something great for you is with anybody that you work with, is if they ever have question about it, is, how is the title listed, right? To make sure that it is the way that they in fact think it is. Because what I see so often is people, they do refinances, or they add someone, they take someone off, they, for whatever they're doing at that time. And then some years will go by and they never change it or fix it or do what they really intend. And so when something happens to somebody, they're not prepared, and it's not the way that they thought it was. And so then there's other things that are then going to have to be done to fix it. And that may require some type of petition with the court or a probate filing or something. So, it's always important to check titles to the house and see how things are titled.
Exactly. And there's tax matter. Perfect example was someone I know who's a dentist. He was married. He got the house. Ex-wife quit claimed the house to him. It was all fine. It calls me up because, I have tax professionals that I work with. Calls me up and he goes, Mina, I was trying to refinance my house. And my ex-wife has a lien from the IRS on the property. How could that be? So I pulled title. I said, well, guess what? She is on title still. He paid a lawyer for the family law, situation, probably about $400,000. And he's a professional. And the quitclaim got signed, but guess what? no one changed
recorded.
the title. There you go. Everything's signed, sealed, not delivered. You're right. And so when people work with us, right, we check everything really like we are on it because those things are really important, you know. It's all good to go through the process. Nobody cares if nobody actually did it, right?
Yeah.
So
agreed.
Really, we had to deal with it.
That's a really big one, especially with divorce. And I see that is just any time a divorce happens and there's some type of, agreement that comes into place with how distribution is going to be done, then going back and checking all of the assets after a period of time to make sure things are the way that they're supposed to be. I had a case where my client whose sister had passed away, we were going through probate and she was getting all of the assets together, and the investment account that she had was no longer available because her ex-husband of 20 years was still listed as the beneficiary on it, and he went and got it after she passed away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that, you know what, I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, I know.
Not good. Well, lucky for him and unlucky for her. But this, and you know what, people get divorced. They have blended families, and they're so, like, done with what happened. They don't even check to see about reviewing their estate because it has to be updated. Because that what Crista's talking about now will happen. That person you dislike will end up getting things that you have because you don't want to deal with it. And it's not, of course, nobody wants to revisit those memories, right? But you know what? They're going to be a lot worse memories if it doesn't get handled. You can always reach out to Crista, to myself, if you need professionals that do other things, and because we're in that world, so we're connected to some amazing professionals that have the same mindset as we do, right? Making sure that you're okay.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's where the rubber meets the road, because there's just so many loopholes that can come into play that, it never seems to amaze me. People just don't want to deal with it. And, I get emails and calls, and, my ex-husband got remarried, and, now he wants to put her on title of the house that we sold that we're going to leave to our kids. And then, because that should have been done like when they got divorced.
Yeah.
Right. Because before he or she meets someone new, because that'll change the story, but it's harder to push everybody out at that point. Right. And so,
agreed.
But getting divorced, guess what? Call Crista, because you know what? Those things that you don't want to revisit are going to be magnified if you don't. And really, while you're on that bandwagon, start a new chapter, right? Clean out the closet, start a new chapter, do it right. You can sleep at night. You don't have to worry about those things. And like I said, there's no simple even though people think they may not be people of very, very wealthy people, but there's always things that are even healthcare directives, all these things. I mean, that if you want someone who's on a healthcare directive that you no longer get along with, all this can be an argument. And so why not take this little time, clean shop, make sure everything is done properly, because that is just a ball of wealth in itself. There's no such thing as, we don't have anything. Everybody has something to have that's valuable to them. Right. And we see it all the time. And unfortunately, we can't redo the past. We can only move forward. But we're also a lot of fun to work with. So, So if you're not having a good day and you want to call us, you can. You usually have a good time with us.
Okay.
So, Crista, do you want to tell everyone how to reach you?
Yeah, absolutely. So they can call our office line. The easiest number is 805-518-9633. We also are online. You can go to iwanttoprotectmyhome.com and be able to access our website there to just get information. You can go through, our website has a lot of content on it. It's the ability for you to be able to just kind of get some information, right, to kind of start understanding it. We offer free 30-minute phone consultations there, so you can book it directly from our website. If you are on Instagram, I'm pretty active on Instagram. You can follow me at Estate Planning Mom, and I just share a lot of content and different stories and situations that I'm in and things that I see to be able to really kind of give people scenarios of what happens without proper planning in place.
That's wonderful. And also, like I did mention prior to our call, we are on Facebook Live while we're on the radio, and that's why I love this radio show. Along as being on AM, FM radio, we're also on Facebook Live at KHTS Hometown Station page on Facebook, and you can always access our information on there because that stays there forever. As you know, Facebook leaves it there forever. You can also download, if you want to listen to our radio show, every week. I'm on Thursdays 12 to 1, and it's KHTS Entertainment is the app. If you download the app, you just press the app, and you don't have to go to Facebook if you don't want to, and listen to the show there. And also you can, share this with friends later in the evening because I love the fact that we're just there. And Crista can comment as well on, if you have questions, you can go and comment on there. She will respond to you. If you want to communicate with her via Facebook, you could do that as well, and with me as well. So, Crista, again, thank you so much for being the person who you are and being so helpful to clients of mine and others. And I look forward to more.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me, Mina.
You're welcome. Have a great day.